All right, guys, this is the Average to Alpha podcast. It's the first podcast, so we'll see how it goes. But
Confident.
I'm not great at like video stuff, so we'll see how this goes. Though the preface of the podcast, or how I want it to be structured, is follows a Hemingway quote. The quote is, "There's nothing noble in being superior to your fellow man. True nobility is being superior to your past self." So the point of the podcast is basically to go through. Like, I'm a guy. I've got a lot of questions. I'm trying to improve. I'm growing and that kind of thing. And basically just to ask a lot of questions and come up with a lot of answers as to how to improve. So
As we let the dog out.
Yeah, the audio is going to be different than the video for sure. So I'll start with my story, my background. Sports my whole life. Got into school for basketball. So I played basketball for a season there. Got an injury. After that, there's no point of going to school anymore. So I quit that. quit that, and I went. I started working. I did some sales jobs, and then got into boxing. I boxed for 3 years, had a few fights, and that got me into training more. So then I started a training business, and that went well. And then a friend of mine introduced me to the online world, and that took, like, a lot of guys have quick success with that kind of stuff, or I've met guys that have quick success with that kind of stuff. A lot of guys is obviously a lie. But that took me probably 4 years at least to have a job online where I could actually earn an income. But then once it started doing well, it started doing better and better and better. I spent last year traveling Europe and South America. Now I'm. This is my house. Like, we're in my office here with Bryan here, the first guest of the podcast.
Oh.
And so the site that I started is kind of evolving, and now I think we need to get on podcasting and see what we can do here. So this is Bryan. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, man, I don't have as engaging a story as you, man.
Yeah.
I didn't go to school for basketball. I went for what did I go for? Psychology and English. Then I went for psychology. Then I went back for English.
Yeah.
And then I went back for something else. I went back for journalism, I think. Anyway, I went for a very long time.
Yeah.
And then, then I got into training people, and then I got really into training people and kind of more at a higher level. And then I training myself, of course, along the way. And then I got, I got into fitness writing.
Yeah.
And did that a lot, and now online training.
Yeah.
Which is going really well. And I blog and I write about just about being, a little bit, trying to build the best body that you possibly can.
Yeah.
And like what works, what doesn't.
Yeah.
But also I try to, impart whatever I've learned about building your body as well as building just your life and just being more confident and having more fun.
Yeah.
So yeah. And now I'm super stoked because I met Chad a few years ago, and in New York, when I lived in New York, and he came out and we hung out a little bit, and I was always like, man, I'd like to hang out with this guy more.
And now we're in the same city.
And he moved to the same city as me,
nice.
man.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So now we're like, got our beers going.
Yeah. So we got the beers, and if you're not watching, we got beers and my pup. Yeah, because it is audio too.
Oh shit! There you go, man.
So we're just gonna do a different kind of podcast. We're like, both of us. I think you're the best. The thing you like most about the online world, I guess, is probably the writing. Right?
Yeah, I like.
Get the dog in.
Yeah, I like having barrier-free writing.
Yeah.
Just where you can kind of basically put your voice out there without without editors or gatekeepers and stuff like that to kind of water it down.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. That's probably what I like the best about is the access.
Yeah. And I'm saying, like, it's the writing that has attracted me most, and something that I want to keep on. Like, it's what I like most with the business. This is not going to happen online. I mean, for the audio stuff. But then, like, the video, different mediums to reach guys, like, it all has its place. So then we're going to talk about one thing today, and that's confidence. Because we were talking about the the name of the podcast is the Average Alpha Podcast, and I was gonna ask Bryan what's an alpha, and then because we probably have some differing opinions on what that is, and then what's the main characteristic. But I figured we'd all come to the conclusion that confidence is a huge part of, at least within your own story. Like we said, it's not in, like with that Hemingway quote, it's not in comparison to anyone else. It's to your past self. So within your own story, confidence is probably something that is pretty important in reaching your potential at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you say that. I mean, people talk a lot about you got to have confidence. You got to be confident to succeed, and certainly I agree with that. And then there's all these ways, like they try to sell you on ways to develop confidence, and tricks and books you can buy and whatever. And I don't know, man. I haven't really investigated it that closely, but I have kind of, I come from kind of an academic background, so I kind of can see the forest for the trees kind of thing. And at least I can only speak for what's worked in my life, and all I know is that I'm not a very confident person in a lot of things.
Yeah.
All I really am confident in is what I like.
Okay.
So like if I like something, then if my gut tells me that I like something, whether it's food or movies or women, or I always go with my gut. And if I like it, I go after it. And I find that kind of feeds a natural confidence in me. And whenever someone tells me to do something, or when the media suggests that I should buy into something or a trend, whatever, if it doesn't feel natural to me, if I don't like it, I don't follow it, and that kind of feeds my confidence.
So then there's confidence in trusting yourself then as well.
Totally.
Because a lot of guys, like you just said, the media telling me to go into something or whatever. Like,
man.
A lot of people we see, you watch Mad Men, and it's like, oh man, I gotta dress like this. I'm supposed to be a real man, or like, or I don't know, we're just bombarded with different things that we think should dictate how we see ourselves and how we should act. But if you're just following what you like that's pretty confident.
Well, yeah.
Without being a conventional, overt, confident guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, to thine own self be true, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, when you follow, I don't want to say, it's not ignore everything around you and just be, blindly do dumb shit. But it's just like when you kind of understand what motivates you and what makes you feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
If you just follow those instincts, I think I'm a big believer in gut feelings, and I think everybody gets a gut feeling when they have to make, especially a big decision.
Mm-hmm.
And I think nowadays a lot of people don't trust their gut enough.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And then I don't know. Sometimes it's the right decision to not trust your gut, but in my experience, the more confident you get, the more you understand yourself, and your gut will never let you down.
Well, it goes like, clarity is a big thing. Like even within business and stuff, I find the clearer the purpose, the clearer the mission, the clearer the clearer what you have to do.
Yeah. The
easier it is to accomplish more. And I think with the amount of things we're bombarded with, it's pretty diluted. Even deciding what we like, or deciding what we should go after, deciding.
Oh, dude. And
it's not that easy. Like everywhere around us, we're kind of told different stories, and I don't know. Following them is
it's kind of the shitty thing about living today is that you have this it's like an embarrassment of riches. Like you have all these opportunities that you can run down. Like I just moved the last week or two, and I have all these things I got to do and decisions I got to make and stuff I got to, and it's it's so easy to get overwhelmed and kind of forget what your kind of singular vision is.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that all kind of plays into confidence. Like when you just know exactly what you like and what you like to do, and what turns you on and what fires up your brain, and everything else just becomes noise.
Yeah,
that you can focus that much better, and focus is everything.
So then, just things that guys can do. Do you keep a journal? Do you
write
things down? Because I know if I'm not writing what the hell is going on in my head, I'm not working it out.
That's funny you say that. I mean, I guess I'm a writer by trade, but
you don't.
But no, I mean, it's writing is a muscle. Like I know a lot about building muscle, but like I can tell you 30 different ways to make your arms bigger, make your shoulders bigger, all this stuff, and it's like your writing muscle and your ability to think clearly and stay focused. That's a muscle that you got to train. Like every day. Some people need that, like those really mechanical things.
I'm one of those guys. I need to write.
Well, yeah, I know.
And identify, and there's a whiteboard there that tells me exactly what I need to do every day and stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's awesome, and I have five whiteboards in my office. I know, but unfortunately, I'm not using any of them right now because like it's easy. You got to stay on that wagon. You got to like. But the thing is, the more you do stuff like that, like mechanical kind of things, like I'm gonna write down the 5 things I got to do today, or the whatever 1 thing per roll each week, and all these little tricks.
Okay.
The more you do that, the more you kind of like you don't have to do it. You know what I mean? Like it just becomes like
it's like
it becomes like a second nature.
Yeah, no, that's true.
But the thing is, then when you fall off the wagon, like in my case, again, like I just moved, I got all this,
I'm off the wagon.
Yeah, you have all this upheaval, and like you don't know your ass from your elbow. That's when you got to go back to that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like
when it becomes habitual. Yeah, you don't even think about it.
Yeah,
when it's like waking up. Like when I'm at my best, I'm waking up between 3 and 4 a.m. Just biting your foot.
3 to 4 a.m.
Yeah, I need it.
You're like a boss. That's
my best hours are my morning hours.
Yeah.
And if I'm gonna get the most out of my day, I need to extend them as far as possible.
Yeah.
So I can get like 2 days of work done before 9 o'clock. But if like today I slept until 7 because my schedule's all out of whack. I had the shittiest work day ever.
Yeah.
And I've the day is just as long, pretty much. Like
okay, let's talk about that. So if you're getting up at 3 or 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
All right. So like, what do you? So I mean, let's be generous. Say you get up at 4. So like, what do? You put a pot on, obviously, make coffee, and what do you?
Yeah, coffee's like first and often, and then it depends. And I go in modes where you got the little porch swing out front. I'll read there.
Yeah.
Or I'll, but usually I come down, 2,000 words, boom, first thing in the day. I'll do that. The first work session's normally a lot longer than the rest of them, just because you're kind of up and at it and ready to go. So that'll be a couple hours, and then active break, take him for a walk, come back, do another hour and a half.
Yeah.
Go to the gym, whatever. But the quality of work I get done in the early hours it's like 2 for 1 for me.
Really?
Yeah. If I'm waking up, I could do the same amount of work, hour-wise, time-wise, but I would need to do... It's just so much harder for me to focus if I'm working later morning, later afternoon.
So do you find, like, when you got these hours then, like, I hear this a lot, by the way, like, guys, especially when guys get a little bit older and they get families and stuff like that, if they're not getting up super early, like, the shit's just not going to get done because, they have other priorities that take over as the day goes, but... So, what kind of writing do you do, like, first thing in the morning? Like, is it creative, or is it more like...
Somewhat. It has to be more. I think that's the best... for me, it's the best writing time, so
like, do you check email?
No. No email. Email ruins me.
Yeah.
I am terrible at answering emails anyway.
Yeah.
But I reserve emails for, like, 2 days a week. I answer emails. If I answer them every day... It one after another. Oh, let's do one more. I should do them more because they are backing up a bit. But if you schedule like 2 hours to answer emails, I think that normally there's the personal ones that need attention, but those are late in the day as well.
Like that's interesting. Like, I mean, I do a lot of client coaching, so I gotta be, I gotta hear from. That's part of my selling point is that I'm available. But But certainly, I get what you're saying. It's a rabbit hole that you can fall down.
Oh, it's even like I don't go on Facebook until a certain time of the day. Well, it's just another thing. Like I don't check my phone in the morning.
Good.
Phone is like that's a rabbit hole and a half.
Yeah.
So I turn the internet off in the morning. So I try to keep the writing just to writing. Like right now, I'm working on a book.
Right.
Just self-published, nothing big, but. The morning hours are dedicated to that. The second batch of work is probably dedicated to the next biggest project, which is a continuity program.
Mm-hmm.
So like bringing guys from average to alpha, using strength as the barometer or whatever.
I find that really interesting. I mean, Yeah. I like the idea of kind of like sequestering your what you focus on in different windows like that. I
Yeah.
mean,
Well, I need it.
Yeah.
I'm such a like I'm useless when it comes to getting distracted.
Yeah.
So if
most people are.
Yeah, if I'm not forcing myself not to get distracted,
Yeah.
then I'm just like watching videos and reading books. Like that's a distraction for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Confidence wise, like coming back to confidence, um, getting stuff done and that kind of thing has made me a more confident guy. Whereas when I was less productive, I was big with insecurity as far as like hanging around guys who were killing it. You know what I mean? In business and even older guys, whatever, or guys with money and that kind of, or depending on the stage of life, it changes. But I found the more failure I broke through and the more more I won. Basically, like even with this business, it sucked the first few years. I didn't know what I was doing. But then when I started to figure it out, not because of income, but because of I accomplished something that I used to be bad at, I failed at. And same with training. It's not necessarily the body or whatever that has helped me get more confident. It's the accomplishing something that I used to suck at.
That's interesting you say that.
Like, do you think confidence needs victories, or do you think it can just be?
Well, I think yeah, I think
we've got different opinions on this, which is good.
Well, I think no. Well, one thing people tend to people look at people who when someone is very confident because they're in great shape, and they're muscular, they're lean, or they're fit, or they're attractive. Others will tend to look down on that and say, "Oh, it's just they're egotistical. It's just false confidence." As I've gotten older, I realize the confidence that you get from being in shape and being strong and being capable. I mean, it's real.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not all just bluster and whatever, looking tough or whatever bullshit. Like if you are happy with how you look, no one's ever 100%. But if you're happy with how you look and you feel in control, that's the biggest thing.
In control is a big one because a lot of guys that are in the gym, that are jacked, way better shape than I am, are just mental midgets. They're completely unconfident. They're like looking in the mirror every time they walk by. They're not centered, self-centered. They're not centered into what they're doing. They're worrying about what everyone else is looking at and whatever. So I think for guys that are listening to this, I think they've got half a brain and they understand that you're not going to become the most confident guy in the world by building a better body, but it can be the foundation to the rest of everything else.
It totally can be, because when you can kind of figure out, again, just to get back to that point, no one should ever look at themselves and say, "Wow, I'm perfect," or whatever.
Exactly.
But when you kind of stick to it and you when you're developing your body and you're kind of like, all right, I know enough now that if I really wanted to be 10 pounds bigger, I'd know what to do.
Yeah.
If I wanted to be 10 pounds lighter, I know I could do it. When you can kind of have that kind of confidence of, you can have that kind of effect on your physical being, I definitely think it translates into other aspects.
So then, work-wise, what about, I don't think a guy...
I'm a fucking mess compared to you, man. I can't, when I start writing, it'll be I might set my alarm for 6 a.m. and I might not start putting words on the screen until 5 at night.
But that's just how you work, though. Some guys, their hours are I think Tim Ferriss is a night owl, so it's at night. Some guys just work better. I know that my best hours are the morning, so I need to use them, or else if I'm waiting till night to get stuff going, as he eats your foot.
Yeah.
If I'm waiting tonight to get stuff going, it's hopeless.
Yeah.
It is.
Well,
with confidence-wise, do you think, in your experience with how you've different take on confidence, which is pretty interesting, but do you think you need to be improving to be confident? When you're stagnant life-wise, does your confidence wane a bit, or?
Yeah, I think there's something to be said that I think guys, I can't speak for women because, well, I'm not one. And
I don't understand them.
yeah, I don't.
I'll say it.
I don't understand them. I got a lovely wife. That's all I know.
Yeah.
But I think with dudes, we every guy has an inherent kind of drive to be successful and to kind of not leave his mark, but just kind of provide for himself, provide for his family.
Some form of legacy.
Yeah, some form, even if it's just being self-sufficient.
And, even passing your knowledge on to someone else so they can carry on the mantle or whatever.
Exactly, and that's why some people find teaching so rewarding despite the pay.
Yeah.
But when you don't, so if you can kind of have a life like that where where you're paying your bills and you feel, and you're doing good work, especially I'd like to reinforce that if you're doing really good, what you think is good, meaningful work, because anyone can make a fast dollar, especially the internet.
I think at some point it becomes irrelevant.
Yeah, like anyone can make, set up a frickin' some type of site, you'll make some fast money.
Or just even in any job, there's a way to.
You can always rip somebody off.
Exactly, 100%. Yeah. I don't think the majority do that. I think most of us want something more than just a paycheck. Yeah. And so you're saying if you're doing
good work, man, and if you feel like you're leaving, I don't want to say making a difference, but you're making some type of positive difference in the world, whether it's whatever it is you do, you're just making the world a slightly better place. That is huge for your confidence.
Yeah.
It might not translate to your bank account right away, yada yada, but it'll certainly improve your well-being. I know when I design programs, it's as trivial as a weight training program.
Yeah.
But when I know it's really good, and I kind of worked my ass on it and really thought about it, I get something out of that goes way beyond whatever money I made.
Yeah, no, that's true. For me, it's the emails that I get from guys.
Yeah.
You'd never expect.
Yeah.
Just guys that you create something for one purpose, to a literal purpose, to help guys lose weight, gain muscle, whatever. Yeah. But when they bring the benefit of that into the story, then that means a lot more for confidence-wise than the dollar bills.
Yeah, so I mean,
he's just going nuts, eh?
He's awesome. He's awesome. 6 months old?
Yeah.
Oh, he's killing me.
Pooch.
He's a pooch. He's killing me. I gotta take you home. Take you to obedience class. This dude's not lacking in confidence.
No, he's not. He does whatever he wants.
He does whatever the fuck he wants.
He's wicked. No, he's a funny guy. I guess he's getting better. He was sick for a bit, so.
He's pretty cool.
That's that.
So, man, so I don't know. I think, like I said, that to thine own self be true, man. Just if you follow your own path and your own vision, you will develop some type of confidence.
So then, for guys listening, let's give them a few things that they can actually take away and apply. Is there any books you'd recommend?
Is there any books I'd recommend? Honestly, no.
Okay.
Honestly, no. And that sounds bad.
No. It's good.
No, but that's kind of not really the point. It's not. Okay. It's figuring out how you're wired, what you like, what's important to you.
So when you're 22, 23, you didn't know what you know.
I just did. Yeah, I know.
So for me, it took a hell of a lot of trial and error, and I'm still figuring it out. But it took a lot of trial and error to figure out what I like, what I'm good at, and then.
Oh, totally.
Those things, right? So for guys, you kind of got to go out of your comfort zone to really understand.
It took me 25 freaking years to just finally accept that. You know what I like? I like working out and building muscle and stuff like that. That's what I like. That's
it simplifies.
It's not. It's not
freedom.
Yeah, and for years I resisted that because it's kind of vain and it's kind of trivial, building muscle. What the fuck? Really? But then I realized, that's my shit. Yeah. That's my little thing, and whatever. I'm gonna run with it.
Yeah.
And I haven't looked back.
Man, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I mean, it's certainly not being a dog trainer. Ow.
No, he's rough.
He's rough. You're eating.
Okay, well, let's wrap it up. That was good. Site-wise.
Site-wise? Oh, yeah, you can read my blog. It's bryancrahn.com, BryanKrahn.com.
and then I will have something set up for the guys that are listening to this podcast. But just, go to chadhousefitness.com. You'll find some more stuff. But averagetoalpha.com/podcast, and you're going to find a newsletter to sign up to that will have more info on the podcast and the self-improvement stuff, the going in line with that Hemingway quote. Let me read that again. The point isn't to be better than anyone else, but to be better than your past self is basically what it says. There's nothing noble in being superior to your fellow man. True nobility is being superior to your past self. So that's where we're headed with this. Wherever you are right now is average in comparison to where you can be. I'm in that same ship.
Yeah.
Let's just
figure
things out.
We're both incredibly average.
Yeah.
But that's okay, man.
But that's good. You don't want to be. You want to accept that you're average. I want to know that I'm an average writer. So then I work my ass off to become a better one.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So if you think you're better than you are, you're in a world of shit.
And honestly, man, that is probably one of the most confident things that you can accept and believe is that, you know what? Knowing your place, like I'm decent at this, I'm not great.
Yeah.
I'm not shitty, but I'm cool with that, I'm working on it. Like there's the confidence there, man. That's a genuine
Yeah, it's true. That's good. Yeah. Confidence needs humility, or else it's just not gonna work.
It's just bullshit.
It's just arrogance.
Yeah.
What a shit.
Yeah. Now we're swearing. There goes our iTunes rating. Yeah.
Okay. With that, we're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah. Sorry to ramble, but we'll. That's where we're going with this.
We'll get more concise as we go along.
Send us questions. You ever want to, if there's any issues you want us to discuss, whether it's whatever, man.
So averagetoalpha.com/podcast, and we'll put all the information on there.
Right up.
So we'll talk to you guys soon.
Cool.
Take care. Thanks.